G'day and welcome to Down Under Sports, where we talk all things sports related, just down under. I'm one of your hosts, Christopher Spreezy, and I'm joined with...
Harry Manaras. Christopher, thank you for having me on board for a second consecutive week.
Thanks for coming on, Harry, and we've got a lot to discuss.
Absolutely. I mean, what a week it's been in London the last 7 days. A phenomenal tournament, a very prestigious one, and Chris, I've got to say, we've got a bit of egg in our face because our predictions were all over the shop. But
pretty bad.
It's fair to say that there were a lot of upsets in London. It was great to see. It was great to see the next gen of players sort of challenge, compete, and sort of overcome. It's fair to say the more senior players in Rafa, Federer, and Novak as well. But we'll dissect all that accordingly. What did you have to add?
Can I just say that it was a fantastic tournament and very, very high quality tennis.
It definitely was.
There was a few matches there that contended for Match of the Year, and I think overall it was a fantastic tournament with just world class tennis. Well
said, Chris. So the match of the tournament for my mind came in the group stages.
Yep.
I think it was the Medvedev-Nadal match. That was an unbelievable match. I mean, Nadal gone for all money, had lost to Zverev, and that was literally the win, I think, that consolidated the #1 ranking spot. From there, he couldn't lose it to Novak Djokovic. So, and he gave himself that slim chance of progressing to the next phase of the tournament. Unfortunately, he didn't. His year has ended, but positively for him, he will take the #1 spot heading into Down Under 2020. ATP Cup and the Oz Open.
We're going to go into that match in a bit more depth a bit later, but should we start with Group Borg and the first match of the tournament, Djokovic versus Berrettini?
I'd love to just remind our audience about our predictions first and foremost, and then we can discuss.
Do we have to remind them?
Yes, absolutely. Let's just clear the tension and clear the air.
Right.
And we'll start off with you. So in Group Borg, what was your prediction?
My prediction was Dominic Thiem.
Tick, top the group. Tick.
And Djokovic.
Not there.
No.
So you had Berrettini last, I remember. So tick there.
Yep.
But Federer obviously overcame Novak in that last game in straight sets quite convincingly. So that was a phenomenal win by Roger Federer, and obviously Federer got second spot.
Yep.
And of course Novak finished in third. So
who'd you have going through in Borg?
Group Borg. Yeah, I think I've got crosses all round. Yeah. So no, actually one tick. So I had Berrettini. We'll start from the top. I had Novak Djokovic first. Yep. Naught. Okay.
You had him winning the whole tournament too, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, I had him winning, going undefeated. To be quite frank with you, 3 group wins and 2 finals matches to win. So definitely that's a naught. I did have Federer in second. Yep. So that's a tick. I had Berrettini coming in third. That's a naught. And I had Dominic Thiem.
And he topped the group, didn't he? Yeah.
Well, Dominic Thiem, what a phenomenal week for him. I thought he was... look, we're going to analyse the final shortly, but literally a flip of the coin decided the final. And to be fair, I'm happy it went to the call was heads on Stefano's side. So
I think we're both happy about that.
Yes.
And we'll get into that a bit later. But any views, any opinions about Djokovic, Berrettini, and Team Federer? Were you expecting Team to top Federer in that second group?
I want to embarrass myself. Yeah, Group Borg. I'm going to embarrass myself a little bit further, Chris. I had Dominic Thiem packing after the third game with no wins, and I thought he was booking his flight back to Vienna.
Yep.
How wrong was I?
Yep.
He won 2 group games, and he knocked off Federer and Djokovic. So he had the toughest schedule in that group up front. And then he did lose to Matteo Berrettini. However,
I think there should be a question mark with that.
Or an asterisk. Yes, because he couldn't lose top spot. Irrespective of whether or not Novak beat Federer 6-love, 6-love, or vice versa, Federer beat Novak 6-love, 6-love.
It was already wrapped up. And
even if he lost 6-love, 6-love, he had definitely consolidated top spots. So it's fair to say that, a bit of an asterisk. Did he literally, and I don't like using the word tank in that situation because he's not tanking, but did he strategically not use all his energy in that match, if that makes sense, to conserve and preserve energy for Zverev in the semis and then eventually Tsitsipas in the final?
Yeah, definitely. I think you're completely right on that. And for me, I was right regarding Thiem. I knew he was playing well, but I didn't expect him to play so well. And that match against Djokovic in the second match of the group.
Yes, correct.
Second match for the players against Djokovic. That was one of the matches of the year.
Yeah, it was. It definitely was.
50 plus winners.
Yeah, 51. 51 to be precise.
Mate, that's next level. I mean, that's world class. How often do you see a match in best of 3 sets with 51
winners? You don't. But then that's
What
a
is
solution
that
to how
about?
to beat Novak, Drew.
Yeah, I mean...
Because he's like a brick wall. He returns everything. So guess what? You've got to penetrate the wall somehow. And to be fair to Dominic Thiem, and not only that, Chris, that final set tiebreak, he was down, I think, 4-1, was he? 4-1 or 3-love in that final set tiebreak. I remember it was 7 a.m. local time here in Melbourne when it started, and it was televised obviously on ESPN, and I remember I'd literally woken up just as the tiebreak, and I do recall he literally was down. I thought Novak had just found a way to win, and he just overcame it at the change of ends. It was a phenomenal turnaround, that tiebreaker. That's the win that got him to the knockout stage of the tournament.
So the score was 6-7, 6-3, 7-6, 51 winners in best of 3. I don't think I've ever seen that before in my life. 50 plus winners in a best of 3.
I don't think I have. Maybe a 5-set marathon at a Wimbledon, US Open, Oz or French. When it's gone the distance and the scoreboard reads 12-10 or something in the last set.
But best of 3?
No, that's unheard
of.
I genuinely believe that's a new record for best of 3.
I think, I definitely think that.
And with utmost respect to the female side of the sport, tennis, I don't think a female's ever hit 51 winners as well. So I think it's a world record. So Dominic Thiem might be entering the Guinness World Book of Records with that performance.
Oh, that's cheeky. That is absolutely cheeky. Let's talk a bit about Federer and Djokovic. Were you expecting that outcome?
Look, Novak didn't put a foot wrong in that opening game against Berrettini. He won quite convincingly. 6-2, he pocketed the opening set. If you can just 6-2, 6-1. So that was an absolute battering, and you thought, geez, this guy, who's going to beat him now? You know. Obviously, the Dominic Thiem game, it was a long one.
It took a lot out of you.
It took a lot out of you mentally. I think a little bit of play on him. But yeah, look, I was definitely anticipating more from Novak. At least maybe 2 wins at the very least. The fact that he got 1, and you know, look, to be fair, I think Federer overachieved rather. Sorry. I think we described that as being the group of death, the ball group. So I think he overachieved to get himself into the knockout stages, Roger Federer. Novak did underachieve, in my opinion. He should have been going through.
For me, I think Federer can perform at that level, but I don't think he can back it up. Like, he can play an outstanding match and then play the next day. It's a bit hard. I don't think he can back to back, performances like that, but I still think on any given day he can beat anyone.
I agree, and it's with Roger now, Chris. It's a good sort of topic that you've brought up. It's going to show now in 2020 with Roger. I'm keen to see how he goes at the Oz. I know it's a Grand Slam. I know he's won it numerous amount of times, but now there's always been scrutiny around Roger Federer about they always give him an easy ticket. He always plays a night session to avoid the 35-degree days at Rod Laver, but he's no longer the #1 seed. He's number 3. He's not a defending champion. Let's see #1 what his schedule is going to be like. It'll be interesting. There's always a question mark there.
Craig Tyler will give him any favours there.
Yeah, correct. Mr. Tyler, let's see if he does give him favours, as he's been accused of before in the past. Let's see how he's going to go best of 5 and how he recovers with the 24-hour break, a session in between, a practice hit the following morning before his match, and off he goes. So last year, obviously, he bummed down in the 4th round of the Oz. Had a great Wimbledon, great French.
That's a match that me and you'll never forget. January 20, 2019.
And of course, look, the US Open, I'm just trying to remember, what did he bundle out in the US?
Quarterfinals, I think it was Dimitrov. I think it was quarters or
quarters. So, it's going to be, look, he went deep. I mean, at the end of the day, 38 and a half years of age, and he's still making that far. Hat off to the guy, the greatest of all time. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see what 2020 holds for him.
It's going to be tough, I think, to win a Masters and a Grand Slam, but I still think he'll go deep, 4th round, quarterfinals, but I don't see him taking that step of winning the big tournaments.
I think Wimbledon could be the only one he does win because he's just had too much success on that surface, Chris. Apart from...
People say he could have won this year, Roll the dice, 40-15 up on serve. Novak hit 2 incredible winners. and then the rest is history, as they say.
Correct.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens with Roger in 2020.
Yes, definitely. So another disappointment for me, Matteo Berrettini wasn't competitive, and I think he literally, it's the old saying with utmost respect. I had him, just missing out on the knockout stages in third. He didn't deliver. He got battered by Novak. Was not competitive in any way, shape, or form. He beat Dominic Thiem. Again, an asterisk and a question mark. We discussed that. Wasn't competitive against Roger either.
Was the occasion too big for him?
I think so.
Yep.
You got to remember, he's still young as well, Matteo. I think 23 years of age. Yep. Look, he's only going to get better as well. He's developing his game. Maybe he's not suited to the indoor yet. Indoor, it's a little bit of a foreign surface. It's weird for players to adjust sometimes. I know Federer's the king of the indoors. Yep. He's the king of Basel. He's the king of Paris. He's won, how many indoor titles. And I saw a stat like in his career, I think he's got like 51 losses indoor for like 450 wins or something. It's the all-time indoor. And sometimes the surface plays quick, sometimes it plays slow. So there's always little adjustments that they need to make on the indoor court where it's not as consistent as Melbourne Park. They know, okay, open roof, it's going to be much quicker. When the roof's closed and the humidity
conditions change.
It's the ball's slower inside. So they're always accustomed to that. But indoor, it's based on the surface, the climate, etc. There's a lot of variables.
Definitely.
Yeah, so obviously...
for me, the biggest disappointment in that group was Novak.
Yes.
I did think he would perform better than he did. It all comes down to that match against Thiem, really. I mean, it could have went...
Yes, either way.
It's roll of the dice.
Correct.
And that obviously took a lot out of him. And the match against Federer really was the end for his world number one, year-end world number one. So congrats to Rafa for that. 5 times now, world number one.
Yes.
Year-end world number one. So for me, Novak was the biggest disappointment, and I think he'll bounce back and have a great Australian Open.
Yes, I agree. I think these types of players, the big three as we call them, I think what they're going to do is, Chris, they're going to go on holiday with their families, spend time with their wives, kids, mentally recharge the batteries, refresh the body. I reckon they're going to have a moderated pre-season program, not to like the extent of an Alexander Zverev or a Stefanos Tsitsipas or a Daniil Medvedev and a Dominic Thiem, where they're going to kill themselves and run themselves into the ground to be better prepped for the...
They're at different stages of their career now, aren't they?
Correct, exactly right.
Prioritise.
It's semi-managing the body, but they do work their backside off, and make no mistake about that. So that's going to be interesting to see. So
should we jump into Group Agassi?
Yeah, we've elaborated a lot. Sorry to consume that
don't be sorry.
Let's go into Group Agassi. Time's always on the fly, as you know, and time is precious when you're having fun.
So the first match day for Group Agassi, Nadal had a 5-0 record against Zverev.
Yes.
Medvedev had a 5-0 record against Tsitsipas. And they both won. Zverev got his first win against Rafa.
Yes.
And Stefanos got his first win against Daniil.
Correct.
Let's talk about that a bit.
Yeah, so that was an interesting one. We both suggested that stat last week when we were analysing the Nitto finals. Look, I did have a flip of the coin in favour of Tsitsipas to defeat Medvedev. I thought, I didn't say 6th time lucky.
He did.
Yes, okay, it was straight sets. Believe me, there was not much separating the two. The opening set win was very pivotal. It was 7-5 in the tiebreak in favour of Stefanos, which was very pivotal in the context. And, you could say it was a lucky break of serving the second set for Stefanos, but a win that was thoroughly deserved. But, look, Alexander Zverev, I think he got Nadal at the right time of the tournament. Obviously, Nadal pulled out of Paris. He had recently been married. Probably hardly had
because he won his next 2 matches, didn't he?
He did. He did. So I think as the tournament went on, Rafa got better and better. And God forbid, it's the unknown, but who knows if he just got over the line in that group, what could have happened? It may have been him holding up the crown
maybe.
From last night. So it's the unknown though. Some things happen for a reason, but Zverev definitely took advantage of the slow starting Nadal, and he won that quite convincingly. I think it was 2-4.
Correct,
he won, off the top of my head. So I'll watch that match. I'll watch it all. And I just thought, geez, Alexander Zverev played at his absolute best, and I think Rafael Nadal was at his absolute worst, especially when you see, I've never seen a 6-2, 6-4 scoreline against Rafael Nadal,
so
probably since 2005 when he first came on the tour. You know, so battering
For me, I think Stefanos got that big monkey off his back.
Yes.
And I think, you know, going forward in that rivalry, it will play to his advantage because he knows he's finally beaten him.
Yes.
And I think the record will become much better now. I don't think it being 1-5. I think it's going to be 3-5, 4-5, and eventually it'll
even itself out.
Obviously, Daniil's going to get a few more wins over him because they're going to play against each other for the next 10, 13 years.
I agree. Valid point you make.
That's going to be
both young.
Yeah, they are both young.
Steph's 21, Daniil's 23.
Yeah, so they're going to play for the next 10, 12 years in a lot of finals, I think, a lot of important matches. Yeah. And they bring the heat, like some good quality tennis here. And
you can definitely feel the tension.
There is some tension. You see that handshake, and then the thumbs up, and they but I just don't really. You see Daniil's matches, and he's always like giving it to his coach's box. You know what I mean? Like that's something for me I don't really appreciate. Like things aren't going well, and he gives the sarcastic thumbs up, and like the back and forth, the abuse, and that. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of that, to be honest. I don't know about you. What do you stand on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's they wear their heart on their sleeves. Every competitor, every player. You know, we've seen some outrageous outbursts from back in the day with the John McEnroe era. You know, people look at that as comical. Other people see it as stupidity. There's always mixed reactions from the tennis world and fans in general. So, look, I like a bit of outrage. I love a bit of emotion. I can understand they work tirelessly. Yep. They want to win. It shows passion. You can never deny a human being from showing and expressing themselves how much they love the sport. You know, I think the sarcastic
I don't think you should be rude to other people.
Correct.
You can do what you want to yourself. Pump yourself up in any way you can.
A little bit more respectful. Yes. A bit of tennis etiquette.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. Let's talk about this match: Medvedev versus Rafael Nadal.
What's a match this was?
6-7, 6-3, 7-6.
Yes. Can I interrupt you? We said 51 minutes. There's 51 winners in the best of three. I've put this down as the best match of the tournament. Yes, Nadal Medvedev was my best match of the tournament. You had the TM Djokovic match as the best match of the tournament.
Also, the final was very high quality tennis.
Yeah, it was as well. It was.
Let's talk about Nadal Medvedev.
Yes.
Because Medvedev was up 5-1.
5-1.
5-1?
5-1 in the last set.
In the last set.
Yes.
He had a match point.
Yes, he did.
Only Rafa can come back from 5-1 down in that third set.
Yes.
What a fighter.
Yeah, absolutely. And that just speaks high volumes of what type of character he is, how mentally resilient he is.
Yep.
He's
never say die attitude.
Correct. Back to the wall. When you're down 5-1 in the last set, you're thinking, I've been outplayed here.
It's not my day.
It's not my day. Yet those demons at the back of his head, he didn't let them talk to him. He found a way of just playing, maybe breaking it down point by point, point by point, point by point. He reeled the break, confidence, and then maybe when Daniil was trying to serve it out, he had a bit of a heavy racket. All of a sudden 5-all. And I think he pinched it in the final set tiebreaker. So that was a phenomenal match.
For me, that was vintage Nadal. I mean, I remember seeing comebacks like that in 06, 07 when he was down and out, and he just finds a way to claw himself back into the match. And that's something that you just got to love, respect, and admire. Because he's one of the, if not the best fighter in tennis history.
Absolutely, he's definitely
a warrior. His mentality is never say die, and you've got to respect that. And they don't breed them like that. Very rare.
That's something you're taught in life, and you have to implement into your game and your everyday way of life. I think he's got such a famous quote that I take inspiration from. What was the quote? It went on something like, he's been quoted saying this. He plays every point as if his life depends on it, and to me, it's like that's massive. Like that just. If that's how his mind is thinking on every single point, on every single tournament, whether it's a 250, Davis Cup, a Grand Slam semi-final or a final, no wonder the guy's had so much success on tour for numerous amounts of years now.
And that's why beating him in a best-of-5 match at Roland Garros is the toughest thing to do in the sport of tennis. And that's the reason why, because you have to go out there and win the match. He's not going to give you nothing. You have to go and take it from him.
Yep, and look, I know he had some difficulties in 2016 at the French, and I think it may have been 15, yes, because Wawrinka won it that year, where his body was really
16, I think Djokovic won it too. 16,
Novak won it, but 15, Wawrinka won it, yeah. And those 2 years, I think 1 year he pulled out with injury and stuff like that.
Yes.
So, when he's legitimately been fully healthy, the only ones who have taken him down, I'm going to take you down memory lane here, 2009 semi-final, can you remember who it was?
I think it was semi-final, I think it was the 4th round.
You're right. 5 sets settling from, yes, it was the 4th round. You're right. Round. 5 sets. And there was a bit of imitating of Nadal. So I think he got to his mind that day, Robin Soderling.
Well, here's the thing. That imitating how he went there and did the wedging, that was at Wimbledon in 2007.
Yes.
So they had a bit of a history, and then 2 years later they played at
Roland Garros. He got to him.
Yeah. And you got to just hats off to Soderling, because he went out there and he won the match fair and square.
Yes,
he got under his skin.
He did.
But he played amazing ball. He was winners.
Unbelievable.
He was banging some serious ball that day. But I'll never forget that. I was in Spain, in Barcelona actually. I was training at the Sanchez Casal Academy. And it was like a national day of mourning. Because the first time ever Rafa lost at Roland Garros.
It would have been a shock.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a massive shock. And that's the year, obviously, Federer went on to win the career Grand Slam.
Correct.
And you just never forget that, do you?
100%.
It's going to go down in history.
Yes, of course. That's Roger's only French Open. But back here to London, so we just discussed the Nadal-Medvedev match, the comeback, and what a fighter he is. Obviously, then the last group match in that was Nadal and Stefanos. That was another great game. God, there were so many 3 sets that were so tight.
It's a lot of great quality this week.
Yeah, and that's what happens when the best 8 all
best of the best, yep.
And they fight off for that round robin group stage. Every point, every set, every match, every game counts in the groups. So you don't want to necessarily be losing too many sets, 6-2s and 6-1s, and then pitching in a tiebreaker, because that's sometimes the difference between qualifying and not qualifying.
If you're just winning that set, as opposed to losing straight sets, will help someone out.
Correct, and we saw that between Zverev qualifying and Nadal ultimately missing out.
Straight set win.
Yep. Correct, exactly right. So we'll analyse the last game. So Stefanos Tsitsipas at that stage was 2-0.
Yes.
He had not dropped a set. He went 5 sets in a row because he won the opening set in a tiebreak against Rafa. But again, I think Rafael Nadal really wanted it more. Experience played a part in that match.
He wanted that chance to get into the semi-finals.
Correct. And I think the hunger of Rafael Nadal versus maybe Stefanos was in 2 minds. Do I go hard here now? Do I pull the pin a little bit? I think that was the difference of winning and losing. And to be fair, it's not like really Stefanos tanked or anything.
No,
it was a 2.5 hour match.
Yeah.
7-5 in the last, and he got broken literally at 5-all in the last set. Yeah. So it was a really tight game, and I think they'll be having a few more battles in their careers as well.
Definitely. So Nadal needed a massive favour from Daniil Medvedev. Needed to beat Zverev.
Yep.
And he didn't. Did he tank in that match?
Yeah, I think so, because
or was he mentally just shot?
A bit of both.
Yep.
A bit of both, and I'll tell you why. For Daniil Medvedev, he would have thought, okay, he needed Stefanos to win that match. So Stefanos and Rafa were on first, and he was on later that night.
Correct.
So he's probably thinking to himself,
all 3 players had a chance to go through
on that last day.
Results on that last day. Steph already qualified, so the rest of the 3, any of them could have went through.
Yeah.
If results went their way.
It was mathematical calculations, sets, points.
Yes.
Hence why it's a fun tournament to follow.
So once Steph lost the match and Daniil knew there was no chance for him to advance to the semi-final, did he chuck the tally?
I think he did. The incentive. What's the incentive for him? Okay, 200 ranking points. Looking back at it now, maybe he should have taken a little bit serious, because Thiem's taken number 4 off him now.
And that's pivotal. Grand Slam semi-final.
Yeah, because that means now Dominic Thiem will not face Rafa, Novak, or Fed until the semis. So he'll more than likely face Daniil, Stefanos, Matteo Berrettini, or Zverev in the quarters now. So that's how it works. So that's the difference between that 4 and 5 ranking spot. So that's a huge climb. That's maybe potentially a ticket to another round. Look, if Medvedev's anger, frustration at how poorly he played got the better of him for him to chuck that match, yeah, I'd sort of think, you know what? Poor by you, because you've just cost yourself the number 4 seed now come Oz Open time.
Yeah, you might regret that. So Sasha did get revenge for his Shanghai Masters final defeat.
Correct.
So he was pumped up about that. Shall we move into the semis?
Absolutely, definitely. And we will start off with Dominic Thiem and Alexander Zverev, which was the first semi. That was the first game.
I think Federer.
No, sorry, it was Federer, Steph.
Yeah,
It was.
Federer.
Yes, because of a 1 a.m. start on Saturday nights, Sunday morning here, and then earlier that morning, Dominic and Zverev. Sorry, you're right.
Yes, so
Thank you.
6-3, 6-4, Tsitsipas over Federer.
Convincing win. And now this reminded me of a mini match. Taking up the first set of the Oz Open round 4, JN20. And I'll tell you why. Because Roger Federer had 12 break points.
Converted.
1. Now, at the Oz Open, he converted 0 out of about, I think it was 14 all up.
Something ridiculous like that. Yeah.
What is it? Can he not just get Steph on break points? Does he get nervous? Does Steph just have this mental edge now? Did he just believe, okay, I've done it in Melbourne, I'm going to play the big serves on the big points and save my serve here? It was scary. It was like, you know what? That first set, Stefanos won that quite convincingly. Roger didn't threaten. Okay, business end of the set. Yeah, there was a bit. He tested him a bit. I remember it was a long, lengthy hold by Steph to take out the set. Now that happens. That's natural pressure. That's a bit of a heavy racket.
There was a few long games there. Decisive long games. But
the second set was definitely entertaining. Now, okay, we see the 6-4 scoreline there, Chris. That could have been easily a 7-6, a 7-5. There was not much separating them in that set. That was a real
fine margins. Yeah,
correct. And like inches. A difference between a first serve getting challenged in and out. Like it was a game of inches and millimeters. Steph got the early break, and I thought, wow, okay, he's going to really steamroll in here. But Roger Federer, credit to him. Again, similar to like Rafael Nadal, didn't get the chocolates in the match. Yeah. Didn't say die.
He's still got the fire though.
He does, and Stefanos jumped out of the blocks too love, and then he got broken. So Federer held, then got broken, and then Roger broke Stefanos again. It was 2-2. Then they exchanged a few serves where they negotiated holds, and right at the business end, I think it was 5-3 was when the break came in favour of Stefanos or
something like that.
It was late in the set. It was definitely 2 breaks to Steph, 1 break to Roger. So that was real tight tussle. And I know it read 3 and 4, but I think the scoreboard wasn't sort of reflective of that second set.
Well, that's the first time we beat him since Melbourne, and they played each other in the Dubai final, if you remember that.
Dubai final.
And Basel.
And Basel semi-finals.
Semi-final.
There was also an occasion in Rome where Roger pulled out.
Yes.
So on their head-to-head records, yes, okay, it'll have 1 win to Stefanos Tsitsipas, but so that is now a 2-2 ledger, but it'll read 3-2 in favour of Stefanos Tsitsipas because of when he withdrew out of Rome on the clay in the quarterfinals.
Yes, definitely. So for me, Steph played a great match there, very reminiscent of Melbourne for me.
Yes.
Just in terms of the breakpoint conversions and Steph going for it, and obviously Roger can't convert certain points, but they both had chances. That's what I'm trying to say. They both had chances.
They definitely did. And Federer had more. Let's be honest here.
He did.
He had double the amount.
What I really admire with Roger is he's still got that passion, and you see him get the break, and you see him come on, and the crowd going crazy, and that's something I respect. And he's still got that fire and desire to go all the way.
Yeah.
So for me, I really respect that from Roger, and I'm glad that Steph
absolutely
got the win there.
And one thing I've noticed about Roger Federer, and that was evident on the 20th of January, Melbourne is Greece's 3rd largest city. It's behind Athens and Thessaloniki. There's a big Greek population here in Melbourne, Chris. Obviously, we're both Greek backgrounds. When you play Roger Federer, no matter what stadium in the world, no matter if you're in your local crowd tournament or like for Stefanos, this is like mini Athens here. This is like Melbourne Park's backyard, right? The amount of Greeks versus the amount of Swiss people here, it'd be, I reckon, 40-1, outnumbered. But when you play Roger Federer, no matter what stadium, the general public and the crowd, you're not just fighting Roger Federer, you're fighting the crowd.
Yes.
There was Swiss flags and RF signs everywhere in that stadium.
It's the RF army.
Yes. No different here to the O2 Arena with what we saw. They were getting really behind him. They were pumping him up. they were chanting his name.
Because everyone knows it's only a matter of time before he retires. 1 year, 2 years, that's even pushing it. I'm 38 years old, so you have to take the opportunity to see him, because there might be the last
chance
to see him.
And
this is greatness here.
100%.
This is greatness. You want to see him go as far as he can.
100%. And what a career he's had. I'm going to make a pretty bold call right now. I think if he wins Wimbledon next year, if, he's going to call it.
Straight after?
Straight after. If he wins Basel, so just say he doesn't win any Grand Slams, if he goes back to Basel and wins that, I reckon he'll call it there. That's my prediction.
Look, that's probable, but the thing with me is that he has signed a 3-year contract starting 2020 to play the Dubai tournament. So, you got to take it for what it is.
Yes.
But you can't really look into these things too much.
Yes.
But it's just, we know it's coming.
It's coming.
The general public knows it's coming.
It's definitely coming very soon. So
let's talk about Dominic Thiem and Zverev.
This is
Zverev. 7-5, 6-3.
Well, two very good friends on tour. They like one another quite a lot. I think the Austrians and the Germans speak the same language. They speak German, so there's always that mutual respect there between the Austrians and the Germans, and it's definitely a friendly rivalry. So it was two good mates hitting it out, and obviously one could only win. So it's always a little bit awkward when you play a friend or someone that you like on tour. I mean, yeah, Roger Federer and Nadal, they're very close off the court. It might be a bit awkward in the earlier years for them to have played one another, but obviously, they've played one another.
Once you step in between those lines, do you have any friends?
No, you don't.
No.
It's
and
you
you
yourself.
yeah,
correct. Exactly right. You're playing for yourself. You're representing your country. You're representing your team, your coaches. So there definitely is no friends, but tight opening set, decided right at the end by double faults by Alexander Zverev. Again, some bad sort of problems in his game that hindered his US Open swing season. He was serving real poorly at that time of the year. He buckled at a crucial time, because if he takes that set, if it goes to a tiebreaker, he's half a chance. It's Russian roulette, a tiebreaker. If he takes that off Dominic Thiem, who knows what could have happened? He could have wrapped that up, maybe been in the final.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
I'm talking about Sasha's Grand Slam.
Yes.
Results have not been...
They've been mediocre for his standard, yes.
Do you see him making a deep run in any of the slams next year?
Boy, you've put me on the spot here. Well, first and foremost, it's okay.
I mean, he's won 3 Masters.
That's not for me to answer, Chris, and I'll tell you why. It's yes, 100%.
And he's won the World Tour Finals last year.
He was the defending
He's won
champion.
some big tournaments.
He definitely has. He won Montreal 2 years ago. So
he won what?
Montreal.
Yes.
So it was played.
Rome.
That was Rome. He's won.
Yes.
He's pocketed some big Masters. He's definitely made a lot of
and the World
money.
Tour Finals.
World Tour,
a big tournament.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, most prestigious outside the 4 Grand Slams. Chris, that's not for me to answer. And what I mean by that is, it's not because of my lack of knowledge. It's gotten to the stage where I see, what's his name? I see the fire in the eye of Daniil Medvedev.
Yes.
I see the desire, how passionate he is, irrespective of the sarcastic thumbs ups and whatever he does on court.
And the clapping and the
crowd. Of course. I see the fire genuinely in Dominic Thiem's eyes. Now, Dominic Thiem might not be the most talented player out there,
but he's a hard worker.
He's getting the best out of himself.
Yeah.
He might win a French after Nadal's.
I agree with you.
He might pocket a French. Don't discount him yet.
I agree with you. He's made 2 finals.
Correct, he has. Yes. I see Stefanos Tsitsipas. He's got the real fire in his eye. Now,
he's got the talent too.
Yes, correct. 100%. 3 years ago, I really saw that flame in Alexander Zverev. I mean, he was 19 years old, round 3 here at Melbourne Park. I think it was 2017. He took Nadal to 5 sets, who was the eventual runner-up to Roger Federer, and he lost in 5 sets, and it was an epic. It was an all-time epic. That's when Roger wrapped up his 18th.
Correct.
Right? So, for me, he was so much better at 19 years of age. At 20, he was very good. 21. 22 and 23, they've been years. Okay, yes, he won the World Tour Finals last year. He played a great week of tennis. He's been very inconsistent over the last 2 years.
So has he hit a plateau, as I like to say?
Yeah, plateau,
Or has he regressed?
I reckon he's regressed. I think he's nowhere near full potential. I know I've seen Alexander Zverev on his day.
Yes.
He's capable of beating anybody on tour.
A monster forehand.
Yes.
He's got the height.
When he serves on,
the serve should be bigger than what it is.
Yes.
Coming from that height, the frame projecting down.
Yes.
The serve should be a weapon.
His fitness levels have been questioned as well of late. I remember who was it? Can you recall the name of that guy who was with Andy Murray, the bald guy?
Oh, yeah.
His fitness coach. He's no longer with him, I don't think.
I saw him today. Oh, yesterday in the semi-final. He was with
Alexander Zverev?
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll find
that
out.
That guy, the bald guy, wears the shades.
Yeah, I think he's Scottish as well.
Something like that,
yeah. Is his fitness coach really getting the best out of him? Are they working as hard as what they were? I mean, to be fair, I reckon he's declined. Alexander Zverev's hit career high number 4, and it was really knocking down the door of the big 3.
Yeah, I remember he made that big breakthrough in 2014 at Hamburg. I think he was very, very young. I think
he was
16 or 17, and I
yes.
think he made like the quarters or semis or something.
And everyone started realizing, okay,
yeah.
Was it Hull, maybe?
No, it was Hamburg.
Hamburg?
Yeah,
okay.
It was Hamburg.
The 500 on play.
Yeah, it was Hamburg, and he made a deep run there, like 16 or 17 years of age, 5 years ago. And he's going to win the Grand Slam in 1 year, 2 years time. It's never really happened.
Correct.
But will it happen? We'll see. For me, personally,
I don't think in the next 24 months it's going to happen.
I don't think he's going to win a Slam. I think we've got Dominic Thiem.
Big call, yeah.
Dominic Thiem's pushing.
I think
Daniel's pushing.
Yep.
He's on the cusp. He nearly won the US Open.
Yes.
I think Stefano will win the Australian Open. Yes. That's my call.
You call Dominic Thiem?
Yep. Stefano Tsitsipas will be the 2020 Australian Open champion, and the Greeks are going to love it.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens. If that's the case, I think there's going to be parties on the streets here.
It's going to be scenes, mate. Absolute, pure, utter scenes. Should we talk about the final?
Yes. What a game this was. We can go on hours and hours, but there's so much review and analyse.
Hurry, I couldn't sleep.
I couldn't sleep.
The match started at 5
a.m.
I can't sleep. I'm too pumped.
I got about 3 hours sleep. I was lucky.
Stayed up the whole
4
night.
hours,
Till 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
I was pumped.
Adrenaline.
What?
Nerves.
A match. Give me your hot take.
Well, where do I start? Look, for me, it was very emotional. Like, it was just, we told, our audience before, we've got a personal connection there with Stefanos, and, there you go. That's the 2019 USA.
Player guest credential, Stefanos Tsitsipas, Christopher Spreezy right there. Thank you for that, Steph. I appreciate that.
And it's, it was just, I'm lost for words. I really am. I'm sorry.
You remember back in the day?
Yeah, 2015 juniors, I was open.
To 16,
scrawny
17.
Little kid.
Oh, mate, he had the potential back then. I remember seeing him for the first time since 2013, where I met him at a tournament in Marathon. 2015, he was 16 years old.
Yeah.
It was just me, Apostolos, and Stefanos.
Yes.
And Apostolos' dad goes, "Can you get a can of balls?" So I'm like, I ran, got some balls, and we played on court 5. He was hitting up some balls on court 5. And I'm just standing there, and I'm thinking, this guy is going to win a bloody Grand Slam.
Well, look, it's definitely going to be, it's up to him how much he wants it. Now,
he wants it.
I definitely believe he wants it. He's working hard. I think credit has to go to Apostolos.
Oh, yes.
His dad has got a well-balanced team. Patrick Moratoglu's involved there. You've got Freddie's fitness coach. You've got Jerome, his masseuse. Nick, his agent.
Nick Zekos.
Zekos.
G'day, Nick.
If you're watching, Nick, hello to you. It's such a well-balanced side. And you know what it's done with Apostolos? It's given him a lot of freedom. Look, I don't like giving too much inside on Camp Tsitsipas, but I genuinely felt sorry for Apostolos in the junior years where he was taking so much of a workload on his 2 shoulders. He needed the support. Yeah. He was stressed out. He was always stressed out. And I think the last 2 years, they've finally got the balance right. And that balance off the court is so critical to the player's performance on the court.
Well, Harry, it's stressful playing, isn't it? I mean, you're travelling from city to city, country to country, and if the results aren't going well, all you can do is stress out.
Correct. Well, they didn't go well for him. There was a 5-week window where...
This year, you're talking about? Yeah. But in the juniors, when there was no...
Prize money.
very low prize money. The backing of the sponsorships weren't there yet. For me, that group, like you said, the foundations, Julia, his mum, very supportive, his dad, he will do anything for him. His brothers, his sister, always pushing him on to be the best he can be. And that's something we need. You need that support group who has your back every step of the way.
Yeah, 100%.
And the fitness coach, and the manager, and the agent, and the physio, everything.
Well, it's the old saying, teamwork makes the dream work.
It does.
Okay? Start of the year, he set out 4 goals.
Yes.
The 4 goals. So he started the year at world number 15. His ranking points were well off world number 10. I think there was a 500-600 point difference.
And he made top 10 in the Australian Open, I think.
Yeah, after that tournament, he cracked, I think, 10 exactly. And he made semis at 720 ranking points. So go figure. That's how far off he was. Okay.
He had a bit of a dip. Indian Wells.
Indian Wells, but he made the final in Dubai the week before.
Yes.
He had a 5-week period later on in the year.
Wimbledon.
His second goal, though, I'll run you through the 4 goals because this to me was phenomenal. He wanted to make a semi of a Grand Slam. Check the Australian Open.
Check.
God forbid, Wawrinka, 4th round French, 8-6 in the last.
That was a classic match too.
That was probably the second best match this whole year behind the Federer-Djokovic final at Wimbledon. 8-6 in the last 5 hours, 15 minutes. That was a ridiculous match. He could have maybe even gone to the semis there. Who knows? Wimbledon and US. Okay, that was that 5-week period or 5 losses in a row that he had that dip. But he got the tick for the semi-final appearance.
Yes.
He wanted to qualify for London. He got that, and he won the trophy. Now
he didn't get that Masters that he wanted.
Okay, he didn't get the Master, but this is where I'm going to sort of be diplomatic, and I'm not taking his side, Chris. He won the Nitto ATP finals. He pocketed 1,300 ranking points. He pocketed 2.6 million US prize money through this tournament. To me, that's more valuable than a Masters. It's more prestigious. It's not a Grand Slam, but it's not a Masters. Yes, it's a weird one, but you have to give that a tick. He's won more ranking points in that week than he has the Masters. I'd rather the end of year final title, the World Tour final, than
the best,
Madrid or Shanghai, for example. I'd rather pocket that. It looks better on your CV. It's a more prestigious tournament.
Harry,
yes.
If we could ask Stefano right now what his goals are for 2020, what would they be?
Oh, jeez. Now
I've got one big one.
Yeah,
I've got one big one, which I'll tell you in a second.
I love the way he thinks, and going back to the 4 goals. Like I said, teamwork makes the dream work. This is just Stefanos saying, "Yeah, these are my goals." This was discussed between his father, who's the coach, Patrick Moratoglu. Everyone discussed it, and they set out these goals. They worked their backsides off. Hat off to the team and to Stefanos. Now, what are his goals going to be for 2020? That's going to be interesting. Okay, I'm going to say, he's going to aim for the skies now. He's really going to aim for the skies. I think he's going to push himself to win a Grand Slam. As unrealistic as that might sound to some people, I think he's going to push it. I think he's going to want to win 2 Masters titles. He didn't get a Masters, but he won the Nitto, so he's going to elevate that.
Yep.
I think he wants to end the year in the top 3. I reckon he's going to really want to set that as a goal. What else could be another goal?
I've got 2 for you.
Second week of Grand Slams on all 4 Grand Slams. Second week and win one. Let's go on. What are your goals?
So at Wimbledon he had a dip, right?
Yes.
First round.
Yes.
First round Montreal. I think he made the semis at Washington.
Washington, yes.
First round there. First round the US
Open. Then Shenzhen as well after on the Asian swing.
Yes. So he doesn't have many points to defend the second half of the season, does he?
Yeah.
I mean, if he makes the deep run at the US Open.
Third quarter.
Yeah, third quarter. Okay,
yes.
Third quarter. He has no points to defend at the US Open, does he?
No, he doesn't.
No points.
Neither Wimbledon.
So if he makes a deep run at the US Open, his ranking's going to go up, isn't it?
100%.
Okay. For me, if I was him, if I could ask him, if he was sitting there right next to me, yes. Stefano, what are your goals for 2020?
Yes.
I would hope he says to me, Chris, win a Grand Slam, be the year-end world number 1.
Wow, that's massive. Yeah, you know what? And when you got guys like Patrick Moratoglu, he doesn't get enough credit. I'm telling you now, this guy's phenomenal. He he's a magician. He's a weapon. He's just to me.
His credentials speak for themselves. I mean, Serena Williams, 19 Grand Slams.
I don't think people really understand his story. That's not, well, we can have a discussion about this another time.
Yes.
But look, he's unbelievable with what he does. He's unbelievable by getting the best out of the player. He's really, really ambitious. So I think that's going to set it as world number one. I think they're going to really push and set the goals up high, because my opinion is going to be, you know what? Even if they fall just shy of that goal, it's better than you setting your goal lower and then falling just short of that. So even if he goes for number one, but he finishes the year at number two, better than setting it as number three and finishing up at world number 4 or 5.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So that's my thoughts. Chris, I know time's always on the fly. We've talked and talked and talked.
Before you go, I've got one question for you.
Yes.
Will Stefanos Tsitsipas win a Grand Slam next year?
No, 2021. Okay. 2021.
I think that's where me and you disagree.
Yes.
On something.
Yes.
We agree on a lot of things, but
yes.
I think he's got a Grand Slam next year.
Okay. I've got 2021 French Open being his first one.
Really?
Yeah, I think. I don't know. It's destiny. He grew up on the clay. I think the dirt's going to be his first Grand Slam title.
Wimbledon's his favourite tournament.
Yeah, I know. This year, okay, he had success last year, 2018, on the grass. It's a bit of a foreign surface for all players in general, but more so players
out of Greece. Because the season's so short, you know.
Yes, correct. And there's not one grass court in Greece, I don't think of, or we don't know of, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's predominantly clay and the odd hard court as well. So I think his game was brought up, developed on the clay. I think he's going to win a French first before he wins an Oz or a US. So that's my opinion. Ooh. I'm trying to be a realist. If it happens at the Oz here, obviously I want the guy to win everything.
Yes.
It's humanly impossible. So if he does, God knows where I'll end up on that Sunday night if he does win it, here in Melbourne.
That would be absolutely insane.
Yes, correct. It absolutely would. And just before, I know we've talked a lot about Stefanos Tsitsipas, but this is obviously the tennis tour is over for the year. Yep. So there's going to be more content from 2020 onwards that we'll share with our audience and engage. We've got a big announcement to make. We're going to have a jam-packed January, aren't we, Chris?
We are. So me and Harriet will both be going to the ATP Cup in Brisbane, and we'll be bringing you content from there. Up close and personal.
Yes.
I am going to try my hardest to have a one-on-one interview with Stefano himself, but if not, I will guarantee you we'll have one with the coach Apostolos, his father. And we got some big things coming for Down Under Sports. Absolutely,
that's going to be some good content, and not just there's some really good tennis that's going to be played up there. There's 2 groups, obviously. So there's Perth, Brisbane, Sydney. There's 2 groups of 4 teams in each city.
Yep. So
there's 6 groups in total. So we are going to witness Group A, which is Serbia. So Novak Djokovic, Dusan Lajovic. There's who's the other team? France. Gael Monfils, I don't know who their second player is confirmed at this stage. Bulgaria, Grigor Dimitrov, I believe, got the wild card in that group.
Is he in that group though?
And South Africa as well with Big Kevin Anderson.
So he's coming back from a serious injury?
Yep. And then I think this is a group of death. It's going to be really tough for Greece to get out of this group because Stefanos doesn't really have a handy partner inside the top 100.
We'll be in depth in
that group. I think it's Group F off the top of my head.
I think so.
So it's Canada. So they've got Felix and Raonic. Yes. So that's going to always it's Shapovalov and Raonic.
I think it's Shapovalov.
Shapovalov. Okay. So there's no easy matches there. Good luck beating them too. Then you've got Germany. So they've got Jan-Lennard Struff.
So he's a big player.
He's
not a big name.
He's got a lot of arsenal up his sleeve. On his day, he can pull off wins,
Definitely.
That's for sure.
It's not going to be an easy one, though.
Nah, Struff and Zverev, they're partnering up together. And then you've also
got the
Aussies in Diminar and Nick Kyrgios.
Oh.
So there's going to be some fireworks there.
Tuesday, the 7th of January, Greece versus Australia. The house is going to be pumping that day, I'll tell you that much.
Absolutely. So I'm looking forward to that. And then obviously there's Greece with Stefanos Tsitsipas, young Petros, I believe, is going to be playing doubles.
Brother, yep.
And then
shout out Petros, I know you're watching this. See you soon, mate.
And a young man by the name of Michalis Pervelorakis, who we know a bit about, but
saw him
college boy.
Saw him in September, the Greek Davis Cup. He played very well there, and he just had a baby. So congrats, Philip.
Yes.
Nice colour. And that about wraps it up, Harry.
Yes.
We'll be back with a 2020 preview show in a few weeks' time. Where can people find you?
Where can people find me? On Instagram, Facebook, Harry Manaras. Follow me. Give
Real
me a
estate?
friend request.
Give
Real
us a plug.
Yeah, Collings Real Estate, 230 Waterdale Road in Ivanhoe.
And you can find me on Instagram, Christopher Spreezy, and D.U.S Down Under Sports. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and we'll see you very soon. Thanks, guys. Bro.
How long did it go for?